My name's Scott Harrigan. Welcome to RawSportsCast. Got another dandy for you today. We got the coaching staff for the UVIC Vikes men's hockey teams. Boys, starting left to right, introduce yourselves, and what do you do?
Hi, guys. Good to see you on. Josh Koblenz, I'm an assistant coach, and I help out Al and Cole whenever they ask. So,
Right on. Welcome.
Yep. Alec Dillon, head coach.
And Cole Pickup, assistant coach.
Perfect. Thanks for going left to right.
Our left, right.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, yeah, this is your first year, right? Like, this is you took over for Harry, and did you play hockey at UVIC before, or how did that go? How did Harry assemble this team?
Yeah, so I guess when I finished my junior career, just using my WHL scholarship, I wanted to stay at home and to continue playing hockey after my injury. So I played full year there. Second year, just with my injuries, couldn't do it anymore. And then, yeah, Harry needed some help on the bench, and I still wanted to stay involved and continue to grow the program, help out the program. And then, yeah, I think Josh played the home opener 2 years ago now, I think.
it's been a while, yeah.
He put on I think 3 assists in that game. I think he holds the highest points per game for UVIC.
Oh, really?
One game played, yeah.
What was it?
I think three assists.
Nice.
Yeah, it's 3 or something.
Good stuff. And Cole, you played with the Grizzlies, and you had a good little run there with the boys there. How did Harry get you over to UVIC?
Yeah, I mean, it was more or less Alec. Just needed another brain on the bench just to bring another side of the game. I mean, I've seen a lot of hockey in the States now as well, so kind of bringing a different side of the game, just maybe a little bit more details and things like that. So, no, it was just more or less Alec when he got hired. I think one of his first calls was kind of seeing if I would join him.
Right on. All right, listen, boy, this is, okay, I'm going to need help with this one. I need help getting through this. You've played at different levels, right? And, you know, I probably get my citizenship card revoked for this, but there seems to be a ton of hockey on the South Island, like saturated ton.
For sure.
Right? And I'm not sure if it's needed. I don't know. And I'm not here to throw whatever. I get they all have their place, I guess, or do they? But at different levels, from major midget to what we deem to be junior B, could that be combined? Is that a necessary step to go major midget, junior B, junior A, tier 2, junior A, tier 1? Is that can these be combined so there's not so much hockey, or is it saturation of the talent pool? Can you kind of speak on the level of how many teams are here and if it's needed?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest piece is when all the academies started coming in.
That is the crux for me.
Yeah, I mean, I know when we were growing up more, probably me and Alec are a few years older than Josh, so even when me and Alec were in midget and stuff, like those academies weren't really around, like the local academies and even the ones on the mainland. So it was more or less you were either, if you weren't going to play midget A and you weren't going to play junior B, you were going for major midget. And most, like, the best players were playing major midget at that time. So now it's kind of like some of the best players go play major midget, some play academy, some go straight to junior B. That's where it kind of, I feel like.
Well, what's wrong with having one junior B team, one junior A team? What's wrong with that?
For sure. I mean, I think there is enough talent to have the junior B that there is on the island.
Okay.
I think that areas where they lose is just kind of, again, like having so many academies or so many major midget programs, and then again, there's like, even back in the day when midget A for like Wanafuka, for example, like they were a really good team. Like I think now looking back at the midget A team when I was in midget, our midget A, like the midget A team would probably give some major midget teams and academies a run for their money.
Well, that's my point. I mean, do you not think that a major midget team could beat the Oceanside Generals? Do you not think that could happen?
I mean, these guys played junior B, so they would be able to kind of. I never played in the VI, so
yeah, I think.
I mean, is it necessary to have that is there that big of a jump? I get the jumps. I understand all that, right? But it from there to junior B, it's kind of similar hockey to me.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, going back to me and Cole playing major midget that year, I mean, one of the things the coaches said to me in camp was, if will you play for us if you make the team? And I said, my response was, where else am I going to play? Like, it's at the time it was just like, that's major midget or midget A. It was no, when you were 15, like you don't have anywhere else to play. Now you have an elite 15 program. Like I'm at PCHL, I coach at PCHA as well. And I think it is watered down. Like I think the jump from major midget to junior B isn't as big as it used to be.
No.
When I played junior B at 16, it was, you had guys with beards on the team. You had guys.
Well, and there's visors back then. Fighting was allowed, things like that. Like the game's changed.
Well, it was called the jungle or what or something, wasn't it, or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And the reason I played junior B was because I know when I got cut from the Grizzlies that year as a 16-year-old, they wanted me to play with older guys. They wanted me at the rink close to home.
But isn't that how you grow the game, playing with older guys?
I think so. I think it's again, major midget at the time was 2 teams on the island, a ton of travel, very expensive for our parents, very expensive for just to run a team like that.
Right.
And now I think it's only 2, but I mean with 10, I think 10 now junior B teams.
Lake Kraken and
so
11, I believe.
11,
Pushing for 12, I heard.
Yeah.
No overnight travel with those teams.
No.
You get to see a lot of different teams, a lot of different players can play in that league. I have a soft spot for junior B just because I played there and it did work really well for me. But I know Josh played North Island. He played junior B as well for Campbell River, very good program. But I think it's just for players now at 16, 17, even 18, like after a U18 team at an academy is like, those teams are fighting for you. So if you have a team that is interested in you, maybe you have another team that might simply give you more ice time.
I get that. I only say this, if there's 2 reasons I say this. Is one, I'm old school. I love senior A hockey, the Allen Cup. Do you know what the Allen Cup?
Yeah.
Okay, the Allen Cup. So to me, it's one of the maybe top 3 cups to win in hockey for me. Yep. I find that UVIC hockey, and not because you boys are here or whatever, I'm telling you, just from me, for a fan, UVIC hockey is the best hockey on the island. For me, right? Now, that's saying a ton because, the Royals are this or that, whatever. But, I mean, just from the pure hockey standpoint, I love watching UVIC hockey.
Yeah, I mean,
but who are you going to cheer for here?
Well, that's the thing.
Where the fuck are we going with it? Like, what have we got going on here? Like, it's
and that's the issues the Grizzlies have had, right?
Well,
years past with fans and stuff, right?
Like,
I was there for 4.5, 5 years, and I mean, the attendance has always been a struggle there. And before the Royals, it was completely fine. And I don't think honestly, I don't know if it is the Royals' fault at all that the attendance is an issue there. I think it's more or less, I think there's just so much hockey going on, like you've mentioned.
There's a lot of lacrosse in this town, a lot of different leagues, but the Shamrocks have no problem selling out.
Well, yeah.
Right? So, I mean, so
and there's a different market in the West Shore, I think, too, than Victoria.
Well, so, and we'll talk about that after, because I think on the West Shore, they just seem to do it right. I mean, the PFC and everything else that's going on, and I mean, there's no fee for parking, and it's Stu Young, I'll tell you right now, does it right out here. Yes. But the other part is that, is it helping the players? Are we getting the best players or to develop, or because there's no developing at your league, right? Developing is done. Is that fair to say, or no?
I think it's you're always developing as a player, but in terms of comparing it to maybe a major midget kid versus our age, yeah, absolutely, it's not nearly as
like you're there to get an education.
Yes,
right. Absolutely. So all the thoughts of playing in the NHL, that's maybe it's in the back of your mind still because you're still lacing them up. But at the end of the day, you've decided you're getting an education.
Absolutely.
And the development going on to go play with my beloved Leafs are over. Right. Correct. Yeah. So
and I think a lot of the guys too, even I think in the way that we've kind of helped shift the program as well, since Alec and Josh have been here much longer than I have. is to develop guys that, like we want to get a good education through UVIC, which is unreal to start off. But second, I mean, some of these guys do have potential to play in some pro leagues in Europe and in the Southern Pro leagues and things like that and beyond that. So I think we're kind of like, as we are younger and we have these fresh connections still in the States and with connections and outside of North America, I mean, guys are now seeing that they can develop and actually play beyond UVIC. And I think I don't want to say I don't think that was not an aspiration before, but I think we've kind of just opened up their eyes a little bit more to that.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Is this your niche, boys? Is this like you've taken this coaching thing on? Is this? I mean, you could go up the ranks further than say. Maybe there's going to be a couple of players that could, maybe get a tryout or something like that or whatever. But like, is this something that you guys want to do, like, and continue your coaching career?
Yeah, I think just for me, how my hockey career ended is it wasn't like a personal choice or anything. Again, it was injuries. When something like that happens to you and you realize something that's been so big a sport, that's been so a part of your life, your entire life, wanting to stay in it in some capacity was coaching, and then helping with Harry, learning from Harry for a couple of years, really opened my eyes. Like, I can, this is something I'm passionate about. This is something I want to keep continuing.
Good on it.
And I think if we have a good season this year, I mean, I don't see why teams locally on the island, Junior B, Junior A, wouldn't be calling us for bringing us in next year.
Okay, cool. Cole, do you ever get the itch to go back and play?
Yeah, I mean, being as competitive I was in sports and playing on the edge a little bit too much sometimes, I think I definitely have that itch when I'm on the bench where I'm like, I want to be out here on the other side of the like being in that competitive. But again, I mean, as much as I hated losing as a player, at the same time, you can ask these guys, like I hate it as a coach just as much. I mean, when we lose, it's like right back to work the next day. So yeah, definitely. I mean, I miss it. I mean, still playing lacrosse, so I'm busy with that. But so I still get the competitiveness somehow. Yeah. But no, definitely. I mean, being a coach is a lot different than being a player. I find you got to be able to kind of take a breath once in a while and kind of look at the outside picture and. I mean, you got to realize you got to put yourself in in their shoes as well as student athletes. So, because it can be challenging at times.
I'm glad you brought that up. I want to talk about that and coaching and certainly from when I played, the coaching style. But I don't regret it. Like getting yelled at and bag skate and hazing and stuff like that. Yeah, it went too far. Not in my day, but yeah, overall, like, you know what? There's always one dickhead that does something stupid that wrecks it, right? But I personally, for myself, don't regret being yelled at and pushed and hard. Have you noticed a difference from when you played to now that you're coaching that you have to be softer? Are the athletes? I don't know. Like, I'm just going to throw it out there and ask, do you coach differently now?
I'd say there's less stupid stuff that goes on. I think most of the stuff we try to do has a purpose behind it. Whereas when I was playing, we might have done a few drills or a bag skate or whatever, which isn't really helping the players. But just adding on that, I think just kind of human nature is we add value to that suffering. We get a good bag skate in and, I completed that. I feel good. Whatever's really hard, we add value to it. If you're going to med school, you get out of med school. Holy crap, I'm a doctor now. So I think no matter what it is in life, you always have to be a little bit hard on whether it be players or students or whatever. But just finding a good communication line and not crossing that. I think that's kind of what's changed is more communication between the coaches and what we're placing on the players' shoulders. They understand why, and then they can come out a better player or person on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, it was tough when I started. I was coaching guys older than me. I know Josh. We have guys on our team that are older than Josh. Me and Cole are only a couple of years older than the seniors, and Kenny Britton, our captain, he's the same age as me and Cole. So when I started out, there was definitely that timidness.
From you, or you felt it from them?
From me.
Okay,
from me,
so just your own little whatever.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yelling at guys 2-3 years older than me and telling them to get on the line and push-ups or whatever, bag skate. Like that was that was something I had to get over. It was definitely a transition period for the guys as well.
Right.
Because they're like, last week I was playing with Alec, now he's coaching me and screaming at me. And when we lose 6-0 or 7-0 those games, and he's coming in and saying no talking on the bus, whatever it is, it's a transition period. But now I think the group that we've brought in this year, and just kind of being right up front with them and just being like, guys, this is how it's going to be. You might.
Well, what doesn't want that, or anybody?
Yeah.
I don't mean like just, but what person doesn't like just being straight up and told this is the way it is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to respect that. But coaches do. And have gone too far. Mike Babcock, I mean, just some of the shit that guy did. When he sat Buddy on his one game away from his 2,000 games or something. Who does that? I mean, you're just
Mike Badano.
Yeah, you're just a scumbag for that, really. There's no need of that nonsense. But Mitch Marner, same thing. What he did with him, calling him out to tell him who did. Come on, man. It's just the nonsense. So like those coaches are kind of, and I have other stories on him through the Graham James stuff, right?
Yeah.
But that's the kind of guy he is. So fuck you, Mike Babcock. But mental health is a big component now with athletes, and it is something that I believe. Because I do suffer from anxiety and depression myself, but I'm my own worst enemy. But I needed that. If I'm looking back, I had that then, and I needed to be pushed because left up to me, I just wouldn't get the job done. Do you see that in coaching? Like when you were playing, I'm sure you played with guys and kids who were suffering from some sort of mental illness, or home wasn't good, or something, right? But now you're coaching men, really. Do you see that, or is it still prevalent?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, no, I see it. I see it at every level. I think something that, I mean, being a goalie when you're on a team and growing up and you think, oh, guys hate me in practice, guys hate me, blah, blah, blah. It's
because they were shooting at your head?
Yeah, exactly. Or they're picking on me in the dressing room or stuff like that. But I mean, guys, it's at every level. I mean, we deal with it for players on our team, and we're very open with them. Like, guys, it's midterm season. If you have 3 or 4 midterms in a week and maybe we're screaming at you in practice, and come talk to us. Maybe come talk to us. Hey, you got to.
Is that a conversation that you've had, or is that just known?
Yeah, it's a conversation we've had with them, and I think we're pretty open, like with our players, and our captains are as well. Like, they'll take guys aside. Like, we'll notice if a guy's not talking to anyone a whole week at practice. Like, hey, go take him out for a coffee. Bring him up. Like, I'm at campus all the time. I tell them me and Josh are, and we tell them, anytime you guys want to go for a coffee, let us know.
Yeah.
Get some stuff off your chest. But we're very open, and we've been through it all. And I know I can't speak for them, but I've dealt with stuff.
No, it's a real thing, right? And it's like, and I know for a fact, an absolute fact, because I own ISN and I've had ISN for 13 years. I know there are players right now, and I've talked about this in pretty much every podcast I've done. I know for a fact there's players out there right now in different sports that don't want to play. They don't want to be there. They just don't.
For sure.
Right?
For sure
So that concerns me. And it's peer pressure. It's the, and I think also as well, and maybe we can speak on this, is that it's become such a business. Everybody's got hockey, this, that. And the peer pressure for these kids today, knowing they know what a game costs. They know what clothes cost. They know how much their parents are forking out. If they don't want to be there, that must be just hellish, going, oh, Jesus, I don't want to let mom and dad down, or I don't want to, whatever. So, Cole, did you like hockey at the end?
Yeah, I mean, I think I benefited because my parents never forced it on me. Both my mom can skate, kind of. My dad can't skate at all. It's like he's slipping on bananas. And but basically, I mean, I was fortunate enough where I didn't play hockey. I wasn't one of those kids that like was on his skates 12 months a year. I was playing hockey in the winter, lacrosse in the summer. Like I had 2 different sports, and I loved them both. And
Equally?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. I mean, I still play lacrosse, and I wouldn't have played hockey till I was 25, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been fortunate enough where I've been able to play both every single. Well, I took 1 year off lacrosse, but other than that, I mean, I've done that every single winter and summer. So I think for myself, I think I was ready to leave hockey and go to the other side and give back and coach. But I mean, some of these guys, I think they come to the end of their hockey career, and it's because they don't like the game anymore. I
hated the game at the end. I hated it.
And I think a lot of these kids now, like even around my age, that are kind of like they're done with it is because they've been kind of guys that have been on the ice for 12 months a year for almost 20 years straight now.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things. It's like, well, like, you know what I mean? And they've only gotten this far, and it's like, well, what else do I got my education, I'm done, right? Like it's just one of those things. But I think I could have probably still kept playing if I wanted to. I mean, I did want to, but it was like more or less, I saw that I wanted to play lacrosse professionally and get into coaching. So, to ramble on, I mean, but it's
podcast,
but it's, definitely, I think it's like a lot. Kids shouldn't be on the ice 12 months a year. I mean,
I couldn't agree. Okay. So
I think like things like baseball and lacrosse and things like that, like, or going to summer camp at, you know what I mean? Like doing things like that,
whatever.
being a normal kid, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, or just playing street
camping.
hockey. Like, who cares? Like, being on the ice and like all these kids doing power skating out for like 4 months a year. It's just like, I don't know. At the end of the day, like
for $44,000.
Well, yeah, it's just all these guys in the NHL right now. Like, I know guys that play in the NHL and play in the AHL and stuff, and these are the kind of guys that are like going hunting and fishing in the summers, and they're not like. They're not the guys that are out there 12 months a year. I mean, yeah, those guys make it, but at the end of the day, are they really happy with how they're, you know what I mean?
And at what cost? Like,
exactly, right.
You know, kids now are getting knee replacements at 17, back pain at 4. Like, come on. Like, easy, boys. All right, well, let's, you know, is there, what was the best, you all played, and you all played at a good level. So what was one significant thing that you can look back on and went, I wouldn't have made it without that? And for me, I'll tell you right now, figure skating. And I'm not even kidding. Our coach, it was a stigma back then.
Yeah, for sure.
Massive stigma. However, learning my edges, that whole bit, I got to tell you right now, figure skating was the number one thing that helped me. And I was a goalie too, or tried to be. So,
fair enough.
Fat and happy. All right, so is there one thing that you can look back on and go, yep, that was it, power skating or this coach or something?
Yeah, lacrosse.
Yeah.
Right there. I mean,
good.
it's just, I mean, kind of balanced each other. And it, like, go back what I was just saying, like, they balanced each other. It was, the hand-eye helped. And, I mean, staying in shape by running all summer and vice versa. In my lacrosse off season, I was playing hockey. So it was, like, I was staying in shape in a way where I didn't have to think about the other sport.
Right,
so I think that definitely was something for me.
How about you guys?
Yeah, nothing. I was going to say soccer. I think soccer kind of...
That's another good one, eh?
Yeah, let alone, like Cole said, staying in shape and just running around or whatever. It kind of... I'm sure you could see it in the way I played as well, just kind of thinking the game, maybe overthinking it at times. But with soccer, you're always kind of thinking where this defender's going to jump so I can hit a through ball or a ball back or whatever, where he might go with the ball. And then through hockey, just that anticipation and whatever, I think that helped me out quite a bit.
Well, soccer, saying that, every arena, everywhere that you watch, what are they doing before the game? Hacky sack or soccer ball.
Yeah, very closely related.
So massively close, right? So, okay, well, what about, was there any coaches that got you kind of, can you look back on and go, you know, is that guy there? I'm going to mimic him in my coaching now.
Yeah, I think...
Don't say Harry.
I think me and Cole had a really good coach in Bantam. He'll laugh that we're saying his name on here. Trent Brandfold, local guy, played collegiate hockey. But I think when I started to go on in hockey and move up levels, not understanding how hard it is actually to coach and how stressful it is, deciding whether to scratch a guy, whether to not bring a guy on a road trip, like that stuff eats away at you. I never was a goalie. There was two of us on a team. It was either him or me playing. It wasn't that hard of a decision. If I'm playing good, I'm playing. But I think just, again, trying to mimic coaches that I've had. Jim Holton, another one, really good coach, is just balancing everything, like communication. It's a massive.
What do you think makes a good coach? Knowledge.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily how good of a hockey player you were.
At all. There's some great coaches that never played.
Exactly. I think Ken Hitchcock's one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it's just it's how passionate you are for it. Are you going to stay up late, watch your game tape over? Are you going to give guys notes throughout the year, or are you just going to show up 20 minutes before practice, think of the practice plan on the ice 10 minutes before?
Like this podcast.
Fair enough, but no, it's the extra stuff, and I mean we're all volunteers.
Yeah,
we all love this sport as much as the next person, but I mean it's the stuff that I'll work on a paper for 2 hours, and then the next 2 hours I'll work on line matchups, watch game tape on VIU, watch game tape on SFU, and somehow bring that into the week in practice. But I mean it's all the stuff away from the rink. It's all the stuff
knowing when to practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Like that's. I remember we had practice and we're like, "What are you doing, buddy? This is like, why? I got to play tonight. Like this is easy." But it's stuff like that. So, what about the league itself? Can you? Like I said, I've said this earlier, and I'm not saying that because you're here. I think it's top notch hockey. I really, really do, and I think the league is it. We had one team drop out.
Yeah, we had a Selkirk drop out,
and they were good.
They were very good. 4 years, I think they won from 2013 all the way to 2017 until we won. They were very good support from the Castlegar. I know they had a junior B team that they still pulled, I think, better than the junior B team, just because they were so good for so long. But I think one thing that we've all done a very good job on since I've kind of taken over and just being assistant coach is trying to keep local talent local.
That's the key.
And I think that really is. I know Keegan Durant's played for the Wolves for 3 years. If you like the Wolves and you go watch them play, and you find out, it is very sad that guys in junior B just stop playing. So if you find out Keegan Durant is still playing hockey at UVIC, you might still go watch him play.
100%.
And you might go out there, and that's one thing we're trying to do. And there's guys that are in the VI now that we want for next year, just because they're so good. Is why would you want them to go play D3 in the middle of Central Oklahoma or something? Like why not
on the fourth line? If you might not touch the puck.
Fair. Whatever, why not try and keep them in here?
Cole, you can speak on this. Was there a lot of local talent on the Grizz when you played?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think so. I think, like, my first year when Alec was there with me, I think we had, like, 8 guys from Victoria alone on the team. And I would say the majority of them were impact players on that team. And then, I mean, I know the Grizz, they've always tried to keep some talent, but at the same time, it's hard to because you don't want to sign a guy on the Grizzlies by doing a favor to be local, and then later on comes to he's dragged on through to his 20 year, and then he gets to get traded, right? Then you look like the bad guy. I can totally see the side that it's tough to sign local guys as well, just because if you don't play them, then you also look like the bad guy. But I mean, you got to pick and choose. Like, again, like it's one thing to have 8 local guys on a team. You got to make sure that they're all producing as well as much of it is to have good local guys. It is a business, and you got to win hockey games at the end of the day. Like, to touch back on a couple questions ago, I mean, the first person somebody looks to when a hockey team's doing bad is the coaching staff, right? So if they're kind of picking and choosing guys and they're not picking the best talent in locally, then at the end of the day, they're going to look like they don't really know what they're doing.
Well, you brought up a good point. So what's the difference between development and winning?
Yeah, I think it's tough for us. I mean, we have such a wide range of ages. Like, we have guys on our team that are 25. We have 2 players on our team that are 18 that just came out of high school. So when I'm coaching Kenny Britton, for example, 25 years old, or I'm coaching Brian Magic, who's 18, played junior B last year, realizing that they have to be patient. Like, you guys have 4 years here, 4 or 5 years here, and working with them constantly. And I actually said it this morning at practice, is like, you guys have 4 years here to develop as players, and by the time you're a senior here, you should be that much better of a player than you were coming in as a freshman. So pulling Cole aside, pulling Josh aside, and saying, how can I get better? How can I work on this? I think it's a great program for guys that, again, want to go on and play hockey past university.
Do you remember when the World Juniors was here, and we had, was that CIS or U Sports back then? I can't remember. But didn't they put a team to play the junior boys?
Yes, yeah, Kazakhstan, yeah.
And well, pregame, they were playing our guys too, weren't they?
I can't remember.
Yeah, well, this is what I remember. Our junior guys didn't win a game. So, I mean, that'll tell you right there where you
U Sports is really good.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
we played a few of their teams this year.
And hockey's not dead in this country.
No.
You know what I mean? And yes, we focus on Victoria and the South Island, and I still hold fast that there's, I think we can do, far be from me, who am I? But I just think there's too much hockey concentrated on the South Island. And if that was to be boiled down a bit, and then you know, the more elite players or whatever, the competition would be that much tougher.
Yeah, I think if they're at a younger age, like in the midgets, like that's why I kind of touched on that major midget to academies to midget, just to organize like club hockey, like Montefeuille or Saanich or whatever. I think it would be more beneficial if there was like a top team in the South Island, top team in the North Island, like it used to be. Just because, like you said, like that is the development stage. It's a big piece of hockey. Like, I mean, a lot of guys after their first year in midget are going to junior the next year. Like if they're good enough hockey players, right? So I think, there. But then when it gets to the junior B age and guys coming to UVIC and stuff, like Alec kind of said, like there's guys that are 25, but there's also guys that are 18 from the UVIC age all the way to junior B age, whatever. But those guys at 25 got to, like Alex said, be coached differently than those kids at 18. Because if a guy like 25 years old who's been on your team for the last 4 years and he's still doing the same mistakes you told him 4 years ago, then you're obviously going to tell him in a different way that he's doing it wrong compared to a kid that's 18. And maybe you've told him a couple times, but he's 18. He's got 4 more years left, and he's developing, right? So, I mean, I think there's areas to narrow the funnel a bit in hockey and make sure it is the top players on
hockey or hockey here on the island.
Well, hockey, I mean, in the South Island, but I think it's going the same on the mainland a bit. I mean, there's like kids coming out of nowhere that were trying out for our team this year at training camp, coming from academies I didn't even know existed. So it's like it's definitely, I think it's an issue. I don't want to say it's an issue. It's good that hockey's growing, but I want hockey to grow, but it's keeping it not too watered down, as you said, at those ages where kids are kind of getting their prime years of development in.
Do you think Hockey Canada missed the bus when they changed hitting to what's it, Bantam now or whatever?
It is Bantam now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, at Bantam, that kid's got a few years to get a rivalry with a buddy who said something to him at school and go, I'm going to take his fucking head off when we can hit. Where it's important to learn how to hit. What's more important is how to take a hit.
Yeah. I think that's a big thing that's been lost in today's game, where you see like a guy cutting through the middle and he hasn't shoulder checked, has no clue it's coming, and he gets knocked out, and we point the finger at the guy that hit his elbow right in the guy's face. Where I think we've done a pretty good job of eliminating a lot of those headshots in the NHL we're seeing now are accidental. There's no really predatory hits anymore, and then I think a lot of those heavy hits where we're seeing guys get injured or just absolutely blown up is just from a fault. We don't know how to protect ourselves anymore. We're not looking around the ice. We're cutting through the middle of the ice and toe dragging, expecting that no one's going to touch us just because that's the way of the rules.
Do we teach toe dragging?
Yes, to a certain extent, but like once again, know what's coming your way, and then you're safe to do so. And I think Hockey Canada has kind of missed the boat, in my personal opinion, of putting it that late, just because we're forgetting. We got to teach kids how to protect themselves as well. Now that being said, there's a lot of predatory hits still in the game that's got to be eliminated. But
sticks up, all that.
Exactly, and there's no place for that dirty stuff. But I think there's a lot of good clean hits that are getting eliminated as well, just because we don't know how to take them and how to avoid those.
I couldn't agree more. What about fighting? Still got a place in this game?
Yeah, I would. Just the hitting and stuff, just to add on to that, and then to go into the hitting as well. I think when I saw it in our league, the when I came into the BCIHL, it was visors. When I played junior B, it was visors. Game was slower. There was more fighting, especially when I played junior B. Not much fighting in our league that we would like to see, but it's going to cages, and I think junior B going to cages, our league going to cages, it does create a false sense of protection on the ice with the cage over your face or a bubble or whatever. It does speed the game up for sure, but I think guys again aren't aware of really how a hit can actually suffer like someone else from getting hit in that way.
Well, that's exactly my point, because we talked about lacrosse, where half of that shit's illegal in hockey, right? But you know the difference when you're playing lacrosse, Cole, like you can speak on this, you know that, you know, what is a bad hit in lacrosse, like you know not to do that in hockey and vice, you know what I mean? Like it's, you learn the game.
Oh, yeah.
The game within the game, right? So, like, is there more, because we're trying to redevelop this game and take some of that physicality out of it, do you see at a younger level or other levels where that there's more liberties taken?
Yeah, I think it's tough. Sorry to interrupt, but I think it's tough because, I mean, you get guys like, I'll pick on Josh a bit, like you get guys like Josh who probably in second year Pee Wee were maybe like, not to shit on your height, but like 5'4" or 5'5", but then you get the guys that are 5'11" second year Pee Wee and almost 200 pounds.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you have like Cole laugh at this, but like we had a kid on our Bantam team, Tanner Brown, he's a first year, but he's bigger than all the second years. And he was that height, if not in second year Pee Wee. So I mean, you get a guy out there that's just more physically or almost a man playing against kids that are still developing.
Yeah.
I know I was like a $140 in Bantam. Like I wasn't very big. Again, I'm a goalie, but I wasn't out there getting hit. But it's a tough thing to police, and I don't think that pushing it, like say push it back to Bantam or whatever. Like I don't think creating kids that don't know how to not come up the ice with their head down. Again, like the Eric Lindros thing. Like
that should be the very first thing taught.
Yeah, and you get kids that are so big. Exactly like Eric Lindros. You get guys so big that don't skate with their head up because no one's big enough to hit them back.
That's Scott Stevens at.
Yeah, and I remember growing up, my parents signed me up for like a hitting clinic. I remember those. Yeah. I don't know if they're still around.
Those are big.
I remember I went to Perks and I was like in a hitting clinic, and it wasn't learning really how to hit. It was exactly how to take a hit.
That's the key.
And how to get like out of being pinned against the wall, like little things like that. And you know, like now thinking about it, like it's probably something we should honestly go over with our team is how to get out of things like being pinned on the wall or showing our team and how to actually pin a guy. Like those are the things that aren't really, you kind of realize the more you talk about it or the more it's brought up that you actually like, those guys probably haven't, like a lot of people haven't been taught that, right? So,
well, you see it in the NHL, and I know enough of the guys, and they actually use the glass as a reflection.
Yeah.
And just when they're about to get hit, they roll. Mm-hmm. You know, and so.
Well, and now it's so many kids too. Like they'll turn their back into a
hit.
And it's like there's so many times where
but there's a stop sign there, right?
Yeah, like you've ever seen that when playing. And I get the point, but I mean. But you see so many times being on that side of where I've seen guys turn in front of me, and I've had my full momentum already going to hit this guy who was on the shoulder or on the chest, but he's turned, and I've been probably the guy that has turned. I mean, it's one of those plays where you kind of got to
turning is turtling.
Yeah, well, that's exactly.
I'm gonna say
it. I've probably been a guy that's done it. I mean, and it's one of those things where at the end of the day, like. You kind of have to call it because if a guy does get hurt and the guy does hit a guy on the back, I mean, then again, what does the ref look like, right? And
it's an easy call, right?
Exactly, and it's one of those things. It's one of those things in hockey where it's so hard to manage, right?
Yeah. How is the reffing in your league?
These guys can touch on it more than us.
Yeah. So what we used to have is a 3-man system. We've gone to 4 now. I think it's much better.
Yeah.
Again. We have big boys out here. Like we have guys that are, I mean, like you said, grown men.
You got a monster team.
Exactly. Yeah, we have a big team. So I think
fast.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. And I think just the 4-man system. Like if someone misses something, that other guy's on it right away. But again, all the refs are junior A guys, WHL guys. Like
They got level 4, level 5.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, most of the guys I know, like locally, Jake Podan, like he's been reffing in the WHL actually lately.
Yeah.
And I know he picks up most of our games. So yeah, like we get the top talent refs. I mean,
$20 and a couple beer. Is that what it is?
yeah, geez. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Remember those days?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, so like, and there is a ton of talent of refs as well. That's a whole other side of the game that we got to be pretty grateful for, right? Because if we weren't refs, we wouldn't be playing. So.
No, that's true. Yeah. All right. Well, let's switch up gears here for a second. Let's have some fun. You don't normally get to call your players out, so now what we're going to do here is I'm going to ask a question, and you can talk amongst yourselves, but I'm going to need a player. Okay, so you guys can think about it, and so it's a call out.
Okay.
Which player on your team would you say between the three would be the player most likely not to answer his phone or his texts? Who's the worst? There's always one.
I'd probably say Eddie May because he's probably studying. He's a pretty good student, so I'll go Ed. He kind of took me under his wing when I first came down here, so it's cool being able to help him out now, and he helps me out as a coach. So I'll go with Eddie.
All right, Eddie, pick up your phone, Eddie.
Yeah, I mean, sure, yeah.
Yeah, Eddie. All right.
I would say Eddie's on his phone too much. He's constantly calling me, constantly.
Oh, really? Oh, so it ain't Eddie.
Well, it could be different, like for different coaches too.
Oh,
right? Like,
good call.
I'd go Keegan for sure.
I was thinking Keegan originally.
All right.
But we'll see.
Okay, so who's most likely to end up in a Jesse Roper video?
Oh man. Well, geez, we don't have any Machosen boys on the team.
They don't have to be Machosen. That's that style.
I think Brody.
Cam Kinsman.
Oh yeah, Cam.
Yeah,
He plays the guitar.
I can see it. Cam's a very good guitar player.
Okay.
Yeah, very good guitar player.
All right.
Sings from time to time. So I didn't even realize.
Yeah,
I forgot that.
yeah.
Cam Kingsman would be.
Jesse needs a backup guy.
Well, Jesse wrote the intro to this little
Yeah, it was
podcast we got
awesome.
going on here. So
I
he's
love
coming on
Roper.
actually next week.
Oh, unreal. Yeah, I've seen him like 5 times.
All right, cool. Let's go. Okay, boys. Player you'd least likely want to sit beside on the bus on a road trip.
Oh man.
I'll start. I'll go. He'll laugh at me. I think it's got to be a big guy. Like I'm 6'5". I think I'll go Woody, Ryan Warner. I think he's a goofy kid, but
I can see him having a ton of snacks though.
yeah. I think it was Woody. We'd probably just be talking the entire time.
Tired, yeah.
I think Arbuckle would be talking the whole time, and he'd be annoying. He'd be asking him every minute how he played and stuff.
Yeah, it takes up leg room too.
All right, let's go. 4. Who's the player most superstitious?
Oh, I don't know.
Anybody just
I'm
with their
guessing
gear,
Britton.
like just meticulous with their gear?
I'm
and stuff?
guessing Kenny Britton would be, but I don't know.
Kenny's gonna be. Danny Gattenby's got to be up there as well.
See, I don't know. I don't know. I stay out of the change room before the game.
Yeah,
So.
I used to play with Danny way back in the day, and then he's I don't know if it's superstitious, but he's particular for sure.
Mine's Stratton.
Yeah, I haven't been-
Stratton's very particular with the sticks before a game, and from what I've seen. But
All right. Last one, boys. Who's on your team? Call him out. Who has the biggest social media account? Like he's always doing like Twitter or TikTok and whatever, all that. Who's that guy?
I would hope no one on our team has TikTok, but if at least posting on it. But that's a tough one.
Brody's posting a lot of girlfriend pics on Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, Must be new, is it?
Him or Griff.
I'll call up Braden Evans. On that one. A lot of girlfriend pics.
Yeah.
A lot of girlfriend pics.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice, good stuff. All right, boys. So listen, we're gonna wrap this up here soon, but what are you looking forward to? What's coming up that you're really excited about? Players, games coming up. you know, I can't stress enough to the people out there listening, to the 3 people that are going to hear this, that to go out and to watch UVIC, because it is massive hockey. But what do you want to say about your program that you want people to know, that what you, from the horse's mouth, you tell the people what they can expect at one of your games?
Yeah, I just want to win. I think that's honestly the easiest thing. I think I just want to showcase the guys that, again, these guys put so much into this.
Yeah.
These guys are studying 8 hours a week. We're studying film. We're studying, and I just want it to translate onto the ice. Last couple of years, it hasn't. And I think from the player's standpoint and from our standpoint, like we just want to win so bad. We're so hungry to win. Again, Harry having 4 championships, having rings, seeing them on his finger before the game. Like, that's what I want more than anything. And I think I want, if more than for me, is for the players, because I've been a player that was pretty close. Me and Cole were pretty close on the Grizzlies to winning a championship, and I was close in the USHL as well. And I think just it would be so much more gratifying, I think, to win as a coach, just knowing the effort and everything, the recruitment all summer, like
all the hard work.
All the hard work just pays
So
off.
just to let the people know that are listening to this, it is a struggle that, you know, you have 2 factors, and I'm not sure if you know the second factor, where every person that's ever gone through that program has graduated. Not one hasn't. Mm-hmm. That's a fucking win right there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right? Yeah.
No, but that's what they're foremost for there. Right? I get, yeah.
But guys are at UVic to get a great education. So at the end of the day, that's a huge one.
But from the competitive side, as a hockey coach and former players and stuff like that, you also have that passion and drive, right?
And I think too, even to touch on what Alex said and what you've said, is like, I mean, we want to win as much as these guys, is just because we've been in their shoes where it's been our last year of hockey. And I mean, personally, like I just finished this last spring, and we didn't really, we won a banner, like, conference and stuff, but like we didn't really win anything in playoffs. And I mean, for these guys in their last year, like, to win something and to be able to walk out and be like, I won my last hockey game. Like, not many guys can finish off their career and be like, I won my last hockey game.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, and that's always your goal at the end of the season. If you're winning your last hockey game, it's usually a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. With that degree in your hand.
Well, yeah, that's just it. I mean, like, they have so much to be fortunate for.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That kind of irks me, where it's like, I just wish that school would just do a little bit more. Like, if they, God, you know, you guys put in so much work. And like I said, this isn't my first interview with the UViC. I've been down this road many, many years with Luke and Harry and Rez and all these. And I know the stress that Harry. So if you're going to go to a hockey game, you can go to the Royals, you can do this, you can do that. Happy days, that's a given.
Our games are by donation, too.
And that's, right, exactly. So go check out the boys, support the team, because they really do. There is no harder working team to make this program work. So I highly suggest going out. When's your next game, boys?
October or September.
October 22nd?
Jesus, October 22nd, yeah.
Right.
Not
Next
this
Friday
Friday
night.
next, yeah.
Oh, just before we're kind of wrapping things up here, did the UBC coach give you guys a bit of credit and kudos?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to him after the game, and just wanted to see how we did and how we matched up against them. I mean, we only lost 5-2, so it was we put on a good performance.
It wasn't indicative of the actual game, though.
And the thing is, I still think we can play better. We didn't play our best game. Like, we were just playing we played on our heels a bit. But he was really happy with our D zone, and they were going to take another look at whatever we were doing, because it was working.
See how I did my job there, Cole? Pretty good, eh?
To touch on what Cole was just saying too, I think, like, even from the practice before the UBC game to now 2 weeks later, like, guys are even making that many more plays off the rush. We're playing with a bit more structure. I would love to have another crack at those guys. I think we'd do really well. I think the guys were a bit tentative, like Cole said, because you're playing a big CIS program, but I was proud of how we competed, and I'd just love to have another go with them.
Yeah.
And that's like, as much as we want to grow this program, and I know we're at a club level at the university, but there's no reason why Victoria can't get to a CIS level. I mean,
No.
we talk about the university. I mean, they do a great job with us. I mean, that rink, we have full.
At least the school owns the rink.
Yeah,
right?
we
So
have full use of the rink. I mean, we practice every day. It's an awesome. Again, we have no complaints there, and I think. Again,
and it comes with winning too, right? If we win something and it, you know what I mean, there's only going to be
but
more,
you've won championships there in the past, year after year, right?
and there's only going to be more concentration on us if we keep winning.
Yeah, I think that's what we want to do this year. Just create buzz,
Right.
Create buzz in the city. Like the more games we win, the more active we are on social media, the more we're winning. Again, local guys are going to want to stay here, and guys are going to want to come here from AJ, BCHL, WHL perhaps. So, I mean, my emails are already flooded with guys wanting to try out next year. So,
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more local fans go out and support you guys, because just the hard work you put in is.
Well, it'd be awesome to get to the point where like a lot of the guys that are graduating from the Grizzlies or graduating from the Royals, even especially the Royals. I mean, they get their schooling through the program that the WHL runs, and their schooling would be covered, right? So, and they probably, I mean, who doesn't love to live in Victoria, especially in the winter?
Well, that's it, right?
When it's pretty mild winters out here, and I mean, they get to keep playing hockey in Victoria while their school's paid for. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like, it kind of seems like a win-win to me, right?
Yeah, no kidding, right? Okay, well, listen, boys, we're going to wrap it up here. Thanks for coming on. Good luck in the rest of the way. And, we'll hopefully have you back on and show us your rings at the end of the year or something, eh? What do you think?
Awesome.
All right. Okay, guys, thanks a lot. No worries.
Thank you.
Okay, well, to wrap it up, that's another episode of Raw Sportscast. My name is Scott Harrigan, and go out and support UVIC Vikes. Thank you. Good night.